Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to A Story with Rory. Tonight we have Craig with a UFO sighting and a couple of other stories. We had him on tonight as our guest. So, how's it going, Craig? How you doing?
Doing good, doing good. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Awesome. I guess go ahead and tell us. Um, I guess whatever story you want to pick is fine, but go ahead and tell us kind of where you're calling from and
Okay.
how it all began.
Okay. Well, I'm calling from Arizona, and I was born and raised here. And ever since I was a kid, my dad would always, we'd always go out and stargaze. So I've always been really interested in, like UFOs, extraterrestrials and all that stuff. But I've always been a huge skeptic. And back in the '90s, um, that's when I started seeing. I saw about three sightings that pretty much changed, my belief system on extraterrestrials.
Mhm.
The first one was I was coming home at like 2 a.m. and in the sky there was like this big like Christmas tree, and it looked like it just looked like a star, and how the light was coming down, it looked like just like a star hitting like ice crystals.
Mhm.
And so I was just staring at it, and I told my friends to come out because it was pretty huge. It looked like a huge Christmas tree in the sky. But as we were watching it, the light literally went out, and all you saw was the dot. And we're like, "Whoa!" I mean,
Mhm.
because I thought it was maybe just a ice in the atmosphere and a star or something.
Right.
And then you could slowly see um, the what I obviously an aircraft. You could see it turn, and the light hit off the atmosphere and slowly leave.
Oh wow.
So I mean, and I had about I think it was like 8 people, that were watching it, and we were just
Mhm.
astounded. We were just like shocked. Like that was the coolest, probably one of the coolest sightings that I've seen. And then about a couple years later, I was driving. This was probably 2 in the afternoon, and I'm driving up a road called La Choya, and there's like a back mountain right there, and I was probably maybe a half a mile from the mountain.
Mhm.
And as I realized, my friend that was with me, they were like, "What the heck is this?" And I look, I'm like, "What?" And literally right in front of me, there was this huge, like saucer. It was pretty big. It took like half of the mountain, and I was just, "This is so cool." So I went and chased it. I was just driving faster, like towards it, because I
Oh
wanted to, I
man.
wanted to see it. So I'm sitting there just looking at it, and it was just swaying kind of like back and forth, just really slow.
Hmm.
And as I got closer, it kind of went and it started going around the mountain. And the way the road was, I would either have to take a left or a right and then go all the way like about a mile and then go another mile to go around the mountain. So I
Wow.
couldn't really catch it, but that one was probably the second coolest one that I've seen, and it was just it was really cool because you could see detail.
Hmm.
Like it was a saucer, like your typical, UFO saucer. And and it's weird because at first I thought it was like, because they do a lot of like hang gliding on that mountain, and they just go. But this, as I got closer, I realized it wasn't. It was too, for one, it was too huge,
Hmm.
and for two, it was just like it just how it just floated around the mountain, and you could see the whole saucer kind of like under it
Right.
too. So it was kind of cool, and I didn't see it after that.
How big would you estimate that this thing was?
It would have to be, because the size of the mountain, it probably a football field,
Dang.
easy. So it was pretty big, because just I'm guessing the distance of it,
Hmm.
and because the way I was, I mean it's got to be, and the mountain's kind of like big, you could see pretty much on both sides how it was. It's not like a
Right.
hill, it's like a mountain. But it took pretty much half of it, like, so you
Dang.
could you could tell it was pretty big. I mean, if I was closer, I would say about a football field.
You're actually the second guest I've had on that has seen a saucer that's the size of a football field. And I asked them,
Oh,
I'm
cool.
like, what would you relate this to? And they're like, I'd probably say at least a football field or two. And I'm like,
Oh,
no way. You know,
yeah,
So you can actually go on my channel, and it was a guy, a dad and his daughter. They were telling the story, and I guess he said something about it was the size of a football field, and then it had like a looked like a mirror kind of. And he
Hmm.
said that he was looking straight up at it when he was, I guess he was driving or pulled over or something, and he said he could see the reflection of the trees bouncing off of it.
Oh wow, that's cool.
That's how he knew that it was actually like mirroring itself. And I was like, dude,
Uh,
that's crazy. But he was by a mountain too. I don't know where he was. Gosh, I want to say Utah or something like that. But
yeah,
so it's just kind of like your stories are almost kind of like similar, just as far as like the way it was
nice.
moving
Hmm.
and the size. So that's cool.
Yeah, and it was. I mean, you know, you see them on the internet. You see them different shapes and sizes and stuff like this. And usually, the saucers that you look, you kind of like. It's kind of like comical, like movies, you know, like a movie kind of
Mhm.
like thing. But when you see it up, like pretty much in the daylight, up close, and you know it's not an airplane or a helicopter, and you know it's just how is this thing just floating? It's not a blimp either, because blimps are, you
Right.
know, how they react. It makes you wonder. It's like, wow. So all the pictures that I've seen, you know, growing up, like, yeah, it's very very possible that, you know, these people are telling the truth.
Right.
And that's not even the one that really made me a true believer. Um, the one that really made me change everything, and I knew, um, I'm pretty positive in my mind that we are, you know, that we're not alone. Is this was like back in like '98, and I was sitting outside drinking some coffee, and it was about maybe, I think it was like maybe 6:30, 7 in the morning. It's before
Mhm.
the sun came up, but it was very very bright outside. And off to the east, I look over and I just see a light. You know, I just ignore it, coming closer. It took a while to kind of get to me, but
Right.
it was because it was coming all the way across the city I live in. I live in Tucson, Arizona, so it was coming all the way from the Catalinas all the way, you know, towards me.
Yeah.
I honestly thought it was a helicopter. Didn't think nothing towards. I just looked, just looked. I
Right.
mean, didn't even think about it. Once I realized when it got close, it was it was so close I could throw a rock at it and hit it.
Wow.
So this was a sphere. It was more like a beautiful egg-looking sphere,
Hmm.
very kind of like shiny, like your friend. It was just like a beautiful silver sphere where you could see the ground reflection on the top.
Right.
And I just didn't know what to do. I was like so shocked because it was so close to me and so huge. It was probably about maybe, how can I put this? I would say maybe the size of two-story houses together,
Oh,
I
dang.
guess. So
Yeah.
it was, you know, it wasn't as big as a football field. It was more like a smaller craft.
Hmm.
And it just literally floated right past me. And I was just like in awe because it was there was no windows, there was nothing, it was like a sphere. But as it got further, it just, without a blink of an eye, it just flew right over the mountains like darted. It was just like like right over the mountains, like
Like
nothing.
hitting light speed, just bam.
Yeah. So it was insane. And that, I think that was probably the time that it just changed everything. And I would tell the story. I would tell people, I'm like, you know what, we're not alone. You know, some people laugh, some people I don't really care. I really don't. But um, this it is what it is. You know,
Right.
and I feel fortunate to see something that close. You know, and literally in daylight. I thought it was really cool.
Right. No,
Yeah,
definitely. I mean,
yeah.
100%. Did you report it to anybody, or is this you
I
just want to tell your friends?
I just told my friends. I mean, this was the time where there was really no smartphones. I'm pretty sure if it was now, I'd be like cameras, you know, and
Oh, yeah, 98 for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it was just at a time where I was just like, I told everybody, you know, in my house. I was just like, dude, I literally saw a UFO. It literally
Yeah.
just flew right past me. I was like, you know, excited and stuff like that, and you know, they were just like, wow, I wish I was there. I mean, that kind of
Right.
stuff. But you know, I see these spheres. I think everybody sees these spheres all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I always tell people, I'm like, you know what? If you really, really want to see possibly something, obviously don't look in the sun. But if sometimes on a clear day, get some binoculars, just lay out and look into the blue sky.
Mm-hmm.
Just look into the blue sky. You will see things flying. You obviously see airplanes going by, but you literally see spheres and UFOs flying. I mean, I've done it. I've done it throughout my life, and I've probably seen like maybe 6 or 7 way up there.
Mm-hmm.
My wife actually saw it with me one time. We were at the park, and I was like, "Look, is right there," and like she was, and that's the first time she ever kind of seen a sphere in the sky.
Right.
But they're rare. They are very rare. But you know what? If just try. You don't believe it. Get the binoculars because you might not see it with the naked eye, but with those binoculars, I mean, it comes into view pretty good.
Very
Just
true.
don't look in the sun though. Just stay
No way.
away from it. Yeah.
Yeah, you
So
definitely take the time to put yourself out there and look for something like that.
yeah,
I believe, yeah, also there's a good possibility you're gonna see something for sure.
yeah.
I mean,
If you look, I mean, it's. I just do it. I love the sky. I love the stars. It's my whole life. I've always been intrigued and stuff like that. But it's it's exciting. I
oh,
mean,
definitely.
I think it's more insane to believe that we're alone in this vast universe. We're the only ones. That's more scary to me than thinking, we have, aliens, or
Right.
extraterrestrials or beings, whatever. And then it's what's really sad is that the government they just keep it from us. They hide it from us.
Mm-hmm.
And it's I don't think it's fair. I mean, we pay them. I mean, in a sense, we're in control. It's we the people.
Right.
But I just don't understand how they could just get away with something like this and say it's in the name of, national security. It's
Right.
like, come on. And
I
then
mean, it's
now,
been proof. It's proved to be out there. When those videos came out from the U.S. Air Force and the Pentagon in what 2014 or 15.
yeah, and you know what really just blows my mind is that for years, I mean, just decades and decades, people are like, oh man, UFOs, one day they're going to find them, and the government's going to come out. And then when they come out, everybody's like, wow, let's go back. They don't care. It's like
Right.
they're so desensitized of social media and media and everything today. They just don't care. And I'm just like, this really doesn't. This is huge. I mean, this is
Right.
something big, and people just don't care.
It's like striking gold. Like.
It's more than that.
Oh yeah.
It's it it's something that's probably something extremely important. But the thing that really scares me is that there's like nefarious, like leaders in our world that use, you know, these beings for, for maniacal purposes,
Mm-hmm.
for greed, control, whatnot, and it's just sad. And then they lie to us about it, and then they try and like manipulate us, and it's just like, why, you know?
Yeah. Or they'll use it as like a cover up when they're trying to do something else.
Exactly.
Like
Yeah.
shadows and mirrors and all that. Yeah.
Like the Phoenix Lights, that is probably the most predominant sightings of all time,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And when, when, when my friends, I didn't see it. I saw it on the news the next day, but a lot of my friends in Phoenix saw it. Some people in Tucson saw it. And when you have the governor coming up, I think his name is Phi Simonton at the time. He comes up with this like alien joke, with the alien head, and then he goes, "No, it was nothing, and it was like flares." I'm
Hmm.
like, people
I
are not
remember
that
that.
dumb. I'm like, people are not that stupid. I mean, people saw it up close, and then they tried to reenact the flares, and it was hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, what are they hiding? Like, people get it. Like right now, you think about it right now, people know that they're UFOs. It's all over the news, whatever, and people could take it. Just
Mm-hmm.
tell them the truth.
Right.
But so I don't know. I don't know what. Sooner or later, they're just gonna have to come out, or they're just gonna, see what happens.
Right. Oh, 100%. I mean, there's I was told Mount Adams in Washington
Hmm.
State has such high UFO activity that it's just about daily
Yeah.
that people see multiple, not just one or two, but like multiple UFOs fly across the sky,
Oh
especially at
well.
night. They said any night, you pick a night that's clear, and you will just see them like shoot across like left and right. And I'm just like, what the heck? And they're like, we don't know what's behind this mountain. We don't know why it causes this kind of activity, but it's just
You know,
wild, man.
well, my theory is that I think the way they go through mountains and desert areas is because of the the minerals that are in our ground and stuff like this. It's it's almost like when you charge your phone on those little flat surfaces with no cordless. I mean, that's my theory that they go and they charge and they use the Earth's magnetic field to charge and leave, you know, or gather, minerals, and that's my theory. I think that's probably the reasons why you see them mostly like in
Yeah,
places.
I always thought that like gold and platinum and like so a lot of like precious metals
Mm.
were actually from the Earth, but I mean, a lot of scientists say that they're from like a supernova or from outer
Mm-hmm.
space somewhere, and I'm like, hold on, you're telling me so when you go and you find what was it? So like gold, platinum, not it starts with a Z. I can't think what it is, like zirconium, some
Mm-hmm.
kind of weird um, precious metal. So when you find that stuff or you find a metal like that, it's like you're finding something that's from not this world and that has never been
Exactly.
found before, and it could be
Exactly.
thousands and thousands of years old. And to me, that's just cool.
Millions. It's
Yeah,
really cool.
yeah,
Yeah, it's millions because for one, you have no how long it traveled here. For
right.
one, and when they explode, I mean, all those they fuse together and they make all these precious metals and they fly across the universe. I mean, we don't really know where our gold comes from. If the theory of supernovas, that's where they come from.
Hmm.
But if that's the case, they could be on the other side of the Milky Way. I mean,
Right.
we have no idea. And it's weird how vast the Milky Way is. I mean, we're just a little speck on the end of it.
Yeah.
It's just really funny. I laugh. I kind of laugh when people say when they say they don't believe in aliens. I'm just like, really? Like how? I mean, if you could understand how vast or just the Milky Way is, not the
Mhm.
universe, but just the Milky Way is, it's unbelievable. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just you. There's so much life beyond our planet. That is, I don't know.
It's beyond a fathom,
It
beyond
really is.
any man can grasp for sure. So
It really is, man. I mean, and it's and plus, I mean, do we really want to be alone in this blue, beautiful Earth? I mean, people
right.
always have hope of God or another species coming to to save our planet. Because obviously, we humans are just destroying the only blue planet that we have, the only home that we have, and we're
Hmm.
just destroying it left and right. We don't even look back at it. It's just pretty depressing. And then people monetize off fear and all this other stuff without really doing anything about it.
Right.
It's just I don't know. I still have hope for mankind, but I it seems grim to see what's going on in the world right now.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah, all the polluting. Oh my gosh, you just look at all these countries and India and China are the major polluters in the world. It's like
That's
maybe we,
horrible.
yeah, maybe we do need an intervention or an invasion of these extraterrestrials come to put us in our place. Who knows?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
you just
I hate seeing plumes of smoke and, a lot of that's like just toxic waste. And I mean, there's
exactly.
programs to try to offset it some, but it's not even like near what the damage that we've really caused, ever since like, especially like the 80s, you know,
Yeah,
you could
yeah.
look at the sky and be like, well, it's clear. And then now it's like, oh, it's kind
I,
of
th- I sit there and I
foggy.
tell my daughters, I'm like, they sit there and like, oh my gosh, climate change. I'm like, listen, don't worry about climate change because that's the least of your worries. Climate change has been happening since the dawn of time.
Yeah, for a
Is
long
what
time.
is what we have to really worry about. And this is the thing that politicians and world leaders they monetize off that by putting fear into people of because if you look in the 80s they kept saying the same thing, the earth's going to flood and Florida's going to be gone, blah blah blah, and it's never changed, not even an inch. It's like, come on.
Right.
and it won't. But the thing that we do, I tell my daughters, I'm like, you know what? Let me tell you something. All the polluting, the plastics and the oceans, including the oceans, that's what we have to fear. Because once you
Mhm.
start destroying ocean life and
It
the
all goes
coral and
down.
the plants, it all goes down because we get most of our oxygen from the ocean,
Right.
and people don't realize this. And we just have to change the next generation and open their eyes up and stop letting fear mongering and do the right thing, because it's usually corporations that are running this agenda. You fear the people, give me your money, but
Right.
at the same time they're polluting the hell out of the planet,
Right.
and they blame it on climate change.
Yeah.
Give us trillions of dollars and we'll make it not happen. It's
Right.
like it's like really, it's like no.
It'll
I
still
just
happen.
It'll still happen. I mean, either way, I mean, we just got to do our part, and keep looking at the skies, because
Right.
the world's beautiful. It's still beautiful. We still have a chance, and I do hope one day that maybe that we get some wisdom, from another galaxy or planet or even dimension,
Right.
So I don't know. It's exciting. I've always been, an enthusiast, I guess what you say, of, like UFOs, extraterrestrials. I mean,
Hmm.
it's exciting, It's like I'm in the movie business, and one of my favorite genre of films are like aliens,
Hmm.
and sci-fi. It's like that's my thing. I love it. So,
That's awesome. Yeah. Um,
mm-hmm,
I've written, well, not written, but I've had some ideas for scripts that were kind of based sort of in that direction or whatever. But
cool.
it's like there's just so many ways you can go, as far as plot wise, and stuff like that. But
Mm-hmm.
that's really cool. Congratulations on the the movie writing, producing, film industry, because
That's
that's a
good.
lot of work. You know.
It is. I always tell people it's a lottery lifestyle. It's I've been blessed. I've done a lot of great things behind and front of the camera and stuff like that. Met a lot of amazing people. Met a lot of jerks as well, but
Hmm.
it comes with the territory. But I think I've done a lot of things as being an actor. You just get to do fun, amazing stuff that normal people just don't do. You
Right.
know, like I've gotten to like um, shoot up downtown with like these zombies. I did a zombie movie, and I gotta shoot them up in downtown. I got to ride in airplanes and helicopters, and
That's cool.
I just fun stuff. Got to
Hmm.
travel and do just it's fun stuff. I love it.
That's cool,
So,
man. Well, I definitely appreciate all your UFO encounters that you've had. That's pretty amazing
yeah,
to
it's
see something
just
like that.
it really is, and just to see it 30 yards away like this. I mean, it was that close. I mean, I think about it time to time, and I'm just like, it's just wow. I mean, it doesn't haunt me, but
Hmm.
it makes me look at the sky a lot more.
Right. More
You know,
aware. Yeah.
yeah, I'm totally well aware. And then I don't laugh as much when I hear other people telling their
Right.
stories. Because when I was younger, I was arrogant and stupid. But as you start to learn and start to see things and start to it's not much of a belief, but having this evidence come hit you in the face, it's life changing. It's pretty cool.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Well, Craig, I'll let you get back to your evening
Yeah, for
there
sure.
and
Thank you so much.
out there close to the desert.
I know it's hot, man. It's like it was 109 today, and I
Oh man.
yeah, I hate the heat. I was born and raised in Arizona, and I can never get acclimated to the heat ever. Like I don't
Right.
know how people do it.
I don't either. I'm a winter. Colorado, Alaska, well, you name it. If it's cold, I'll go there.
That's
So
that's me now. Like yeah, so I love the cold. Winter, bring it on.
cool.
Yeah.
All
Thank
right.
you very much. I appreciate you, and
Yeah.
looking forward to seeing more of your stuff.
All right. Cool. Well, have a good day, and I will talk to you later.
Take care. Bye.
Bye. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to A Story with Rory. That was Craig out in Arizona with his UFO sightings. And until then, see you later. And we're out.